Welcome to Ace My Exams Learning. Let us get started with today's learning.
Question. Discuss factors which impede the revision of procedures. Several factors can limit the revision of procedures within an organization, as laid out below. 1. It is natural for people to stick to what they know. Humans are creatures of habit and tend to stick to familiar ways of doing things. This often leads to the development of routines and habits that are efficient or comfortable, making people resistant to changes that disrupt these patterns. It is not intentional resistance, but a natural inclination to maintain the status quo. 2. People are afraid of the unknown. Fear of uncertainty is a fundamental human emotion. When people face unfamiliar situations or changes, they often experience anxiety about potential outcomes. This fear can manifest as resistance to change since individuals may perceive the unknown as a threat to their stability or security. 3. Lack of individual ownership. When individuals or teams do not take ownership of proposed improvements or changes, there is a decreased commitment to the proposed changes and their success. The best results will be achieved if improvement is brought about on the initiative of the official concerned. 4. Lack of consequences. When there are no consequences for resisting change, as is often the case with officials in certain public sector roles who enjoy greater job security, resistance to change becomes more complicated. This lack of immediate consequences makes it challenging to compel officials to embrace change, thus adding complexity to the change management process. 5. Negative attitude. When attitudes are negative, they significantly influence how individuals perceive and respond to change. An official who harbors a negative attitude towards change will view every suggestion as a threat to their authority, competence, or job security. This mindset can hinder constructive dialogue and collaboration, thereby impeding the change process. 6. Lack of adequate engagement. When change is not preceded by thorough engagement and consideration of key stakeholders, including officials directly impacted by proposed changes, the likelihood of successful implementation diminishes. Therefore, changes should be made and implemented only after all steps have been taken to engage with and address concerns raised by officials, to increase the likelihood of successful implementation and minimize resistance. 7. Change agents' connection with and within the department. The person implementing change must be connected to the department and must have a deep understanding of the department's operations, culture, and dynamics. This connection with the department can facilitate communication, build trust, and garner and facilitate successful change. 8. Political interference. In some political environments, officials may leverage their political affiliations to resist or influence change initiatives. This can introduce additional complexities and power dynamics into the change process, resulting in decisions that are influenced by political considerations rather than organizational needs. 9. Cost of change. Implementing change often requires investments in technology, infrastructure, or resources, which can pose a barrier to change, particularly if the organization lacks sufficient funds or prioritizes other initiatives over the proposed changes. 10. External consultants. Change initiatives led by external consultants or specialized staff may face resistance from line staff who perceive these changes as imposed from outside the organization. This resistance can stem from concerns about loss of autonomy or changes to established workflows or practices. 11. Delays of failure by politicians to amend policies. When politicians in power refuse to amend existing policies or regulations, frontline officials may be unable to implement desired changes, despite their efforts or willingness to do so. Question. Differentiate between the business administration and public administration. Business administration and public administration are two separate fields with different objectives and contexts, as explained below. 1. Aim of their decisions. In private administration, decisions are primarily aimed at maximizing profit. Businesses focus on strategies that enhance revenue and minimize costs to increase financial gains. Decision-making is centered around profitability metrics and shareholder returns. On the other hand, in public administration, decisions are aimed at improving the welfare of the community rather than maximizing profit. While financial considerations are important, the primary goal is to provide essential services and enhance the quality of life for citizens. 2. Budget orientation. Budgets in private administration typically indicate an ever-growing profit as a key objective. Financial plans are structured to reflect this aim, with a focus on increasing revenue streams and expanding market share. In contrast, budgets in public administration must demonstrate balanced spending. Resource allocation is guided by the need to efficiently utilize tax funds and address societal needs effectively, rather than focusing solely on profit growth. 3. Compliance with stipulations of the law. Private administration complies with stipulations of the law, primarily revolving around commercial laws and regulations governing trade, commerce, and corporate governance. Similarly, public administration adheres to stipulations of the law, but the regulations are typically related to governance, public policy, and the administration of public services. 4. Capital utilization. Private administration relies on its own capital or investments from shareholders to finance operations and expansion. Decision-making is often driven by the financial resources available within the organization. In contrast, public administration relies on tax funds collected from citizens and businesses to finance its activities. This funding source differs from private administration, which uses its own capital or shareholder investments. 5. Decision-making authority. Decision-making in private administration is dedicated by the market. Market dynamics, consumer demand, and competitive forces heavily influence decision-making processes within businesses. In public administration, decisions are dedicated by political authority. Government policies and the interests of the broader community, as determined through democratic processes, shape decision-making. Question. Name and briefly explain formal control measures in public administration. Various formal control methods are employed to regulate activities in public institutions. These control measures include: 1. Written reports. Written reports are the most commonly used control measure in the public sector. They serve as physical and visible evidence of work that has or has not been carried out. Submitting written reports helps officials work with more care and precision. 2. Investigation and inspection. Investigation and inspection are exercises that are carried out to evaluate an employee's actual work. The aim is to compare the results with certain requirements or standards to confirm whether the activity meets the required target. Inspections may either be a surprise visit or an announced one. However, a disadvantage of inspections is that they usually occur after incorrect actions have already been carried out. 3. Auditing. The Auditor General has the power to audit every public account in public institutions to ensure that basic standards of governance are met and public funds are used appropriately. Auditing should be used to prevent any wrongful transactions from taking place. Depending on the type of audit, the Auditor General may check for accuracy and compliance with relevant laws and financial rules, compliance with instructions, and measures to prevent excess, extravagance, or gross inefficiency. 4. Cost accounting, cost comparisons, and cost analysis. Cost accounting, comparisons, and analysis provide objective evaluations of transactions at the operational level, aiding in decision-making and project approval processes. These tools facilitate cost-effectiveness assessments, particularly beneficial when multiple units offer similar services or goods. 5. Statistical returns. Statistical returns can be used to measure productivity. Figures reflecting this can be used together with other statistical returns to establish criteria for assessing results and for compiling work programs that involve allocating personnel and resources. Question. Discuss the relationship between central government and the provincial government. The relationship between the provincial executive and the national government in South Africa is governed by constitutional mandates and intervention mechanisms. Firstly, the provincial executive is constitutionally obligated to implement all national legislation within its jurisdiction. However, should a province fail to fulfill its legislative duties, the national government holds the authority to intervene. This intervention can take various forms, including issuing directives outlining the conditions necessary to fulfill obligations, or assuming direct responsibility for the relevant legislative tasks. Importantly, any intervention by the national government must be formally notified and tabled in the National Council of Provinces, NCOP, within 14 days of its initiation. Alongside this notice, a memorandum must be provided, detailing the rationale and justification for the intervention. This framework ensures both the implementation of national legislation at the provincial level and a transparent process for national government intervention when necessary. This helps to uphold the principles of cooperative governance and constitutional integrity. Question. Discuss the relationship between a provincial government and a municipality. The relationship between a provincial government and a municipality is characterized by a blend of cooperation, oversight, support, and shared responsibility, as explained below. Firstly, the relationship between a provincial government and a municipality is fundamental to the functioning of local governance. One key aspect of this relationship is the provincial government's role in monitoring the affairs of local government. This oversight ensures that municipalities operate within the legal and regulatory frameworks established by higher levels of government. Secondly, the Constitution imposes a significant obligation on the provincial government to promote the development and capacity of local government. This obligation reflects the recognition of municipalities as essential components of the broader governmental structure, with the provincial government playing a supportive role in the growth and effectiveness of these municipalities. Furthermore, transparency and public participation are essential aspects of the relationship between provincial and local governments. For example, bills that impact the status, institutions, powers, or functions of local government must be published in the Government Gazette to solicit input from interested parties. This ensures that decisions affecting municipalities are made with due consideration to the views of stakeholders. Additionally, municipalities possess the authority to enact bylaws to govern various aspects of local affairs. These bylaws are essential for effective administration and regulation within their jurisdiction. However, these bylaws must align with national or provincial laws. Bylaws that contradict higher-level legislation are considered invalid, underscoring the hierarchical relationship between different tiers of government. Moreover, both national and provincial governments have the prerogative to delegate tasks to municipalities, provided that the municipality demonstrates the requisite capacity to fulfill them competently. This delegation of responsibilities allows for more efficient service delivery and tailored governance at the local level. The process of delegation from the provincial to the local government is formalized through decisions made by the Provincial Executive Council. This ensures that such delegation is carried out in a systematic and accountable manner, with due consideration given to the capabilities and needs of each municipality. Lastly, the Premier, as the head of the provincial government, may offer guidance or directives to municipalities when necessary. For instance, the Premier may advise the municipality to follow a certain course of action, or to restrain if the policy would not improve the welfare of the community. Such advice serves to ensure that municipal actions align with broader provincial goals and prioritize the well-being of citizens. Question. When tenders are offered, both levels of government must follow the necessary procedures and methods. Advise the government on the importance of having written procedures and methods. 1. Standardization and consistency. Having written procedures and methods helps to maintain consistency and clarity within the organization and avoid the presence of too many different work procedures. However, One should keep in mind those individuals serving in a team who may have their own way of doing a particular task. 2. Goal alignment. Written procedures help to maintain officials' unwavering focus on achieving the organization's objectives and prevent disagreements regarding which approach is best to accomplish the goal. 3. Clarity and understanding. Well-documented procedures ensure that work assignments are clear and easy to understand. This minimizes confusion and enhances productivity. 4. Efficiency and quality. Written methods promote effective and efficient work performance. This contributes to quality control by ensuring services and goods meet specified standards. 5. Employee awareness. Procedures explain policy objectives to employees so that they understand how their work is connected to that of their colleagues in the larger context of organizational work. 6. Uniformity and collaboration. Written procedures ensure uniformity and integration in matters where more than one institution is involved. 7. Training and adaptation. Written documentation helps to introduce new work procedures and ensures that employees are made aware of these changes in an orderly manner. This helps to smoothen transitions and minimize disruptions to workflow. 8. Revision and improvement. Written methods and procedures ensure that codes and training manuals are properly set out. This enables staff to be trained appropriately and consistently, which in turn promotes uniformity in training methods across the organization, ensuring that all employees receive the same level of training. 9. Adaptability and relevance. Written procedures enable organizations to systematically examine and revise work processes as needed. This ensures that procedures adapt to changing circumstances and requirements to remain relevant and efficient over time.
To access more learning and exam preparation materials, go to www.acemyexams.coza. This link is also in the video description below. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to subscribe and be the first to know when we upload new videos.